Kia ora. Today's activity is looking at how do we identify and discuss various features of a time series graph. So if you are thinking of a PPDAC cycle, it is the data analysis section of a PPDAC. So in your previous task, you were introduced to Google Trends. So today's task involves selecting a search term from Google Trends of your choice. In this case, I'm going to do Miley Cyrus. And I'm going to do worldwide over the last 5 years. And I'm going to produce an analysis for this time series graph. So there is a worked exemplar up for this as well for you to have a read through, but you will need to copy and paste your graph for your search term of choice, and then you will need to paste that into the document. So you can see that ticks off the first box here in terms of the marking schedule. So you have got a raw data graph. You then need to identify the overall trend and any seasonal features in the data. So if we look at this Miley Cyrus graph, okay, looking at the search term for how frequently Miley Cyrus was searched over the last 5 years, you can see that the start point is higher than the end point. So that means overall there is a decreasing trend for the search term Miley Cyrus on Google. And visually inspecting that graph, you can see that there's no clear seasonal data. There isn't a repeating sort of pattern where there is a trough and a peak happening sort of over the same time frame in that data. So there is no seasonal trend. And this makes sense. You could add some context there sort of to the idea that, it's not an event that occurs frequently, or it's not linked to weather, so it's unlikely to have a seasonal pattern. Then it asks you to describe any other features that you can see other than seasonality. So what we do here is we sort of start at the beginning of the data and we sort of group it into sections. So you might say the trend between January 2016 and March 2017 is decreasing slightly over time, and this is most likely due to her going back into the studio to record her 6th album. So what I've done there is I have described for that section what is happening, and then I've gone and researched why that might be happening, and that research is actually the excellence component of the data analysis. So I have gone and researched the fact that she wasn't really in the public because she was busy recording, and then I have referenced that using APA referencing. Okay, I then continue to describe the data throughout the whole range. So I talk about the fact that there's a little peak here, then it decreases off slightly, then there's another peak. And each of those peaks, I have talked a bit about what might be occurring. So, for instance, Miley and Liam Hemsworth got married in January 2019, which could explain an increase in the search term, and pictures of the wedding and honeymoon were released to the media. So that might have been released. And then worldwide, people became more interested in searching the term Miley Cyrus, and so hence there was an increase in the search term during that period of time related to that particular event. So you will need to, in your task, grab a graph and then go through and describe the overall trend, whether there's a seasonal trend or not, and then break it up into sections and describe sort of what is happening in each section, and then research why that might be occurring for each of the different sections of your time series graph.